The views, information, and opinions expressed during the following program are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent the views of Access Communications, its representatives, or its employees.
I'd like to start with the address that I usually give at the first meeting of the new year. So first off, good evening everyone. Welcome to Estevan City Council. Since this is the first meeting of the year, on behalf of council and staff, we would like to wish everyone a happy, healthy new year. First of all, I would like to give a brief recap of 2021. Council continued to work on our financial position by reducing debt by $2 million. Traffic lights were installed on King and Souris. Water main work was finished on Veterans Crescent. The police expansion building was finished. The new pathway system was completed, with more upgrades and finishing touches to come this year. We also did more upgrades at the water treatment plant. Resurfacing on 4th Street was completed, along with sidewalk improvements, along with undergrounds between 8th Ave and Souris. We also initiated a downtown revitalization plan. Perimeter fencing was through the CAP grant at 50-50 cost share at the airport, continued park improvements, and council approved the dog park on Hillside. Both Affinity and Power Dodge underwent major improvements to their ice plants. Affinity Place also received draining improvements on the north side. We also did landfill expansion design along with monitoring and sampling. Looking forward to 2022, we will be looking at upgrades at Churchill Park Pool. The full refurbishment of our water tower will be undergone. We will also be looking at HVAC and roof membrane upgrades on the Leisure Services roof. We will be doing the final asphalt lift on the 800 and 900 block of 4th. We will also be doing roadway rehabilitation on Smith, Hastings, and Yardley. We will continue with more upgrades at the wastewater plant with phase 2 of the Logic controllers. At the airport, the runways will receive emulsion to all paved surfaces to extend the runway life. We will also be repainting runway lines and marking. In closing, we would like to thank our community over the last couple of years of COVID. We realize that this has tried everyone's patience to the max. We thank you for your patience and optimistically hope the end is in sight. So with that, we'll move on to the meeting. Could I have a motion, please, to adopt the agenda as presented? Councillor Clark, seconded by Councillor Walliser. Any questions or comments? If not, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, we have the minutes of the council meeting held on December 13th, 2021. Could I have a motion, please, to accept these? Okay, thank you. Councillor Frank, seconded by Councillor Ford. Any further questions? Oh, sorry, Councillor Frank.
Sorry, Your Worship, just the one amendment. It says that I was present and I was unfortunately absent at the last meeting as it was my wife's 30th birthday. So I had to go and make her happy instead of being here, unfortunately.
Well, God bless you for that.
So we'll have that one amendment.
Happy wife, happy life. I'm glad you learned that early.
Absolutely. The only person that gets, a little precedent over the city.
Well, I think council will forgive you for that, and hopefully you still get your Girl Guide cookie for good attendance. Okay, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, under original communications, delegations, and petitions, we have the SEEPT membership invoice for 2021. What's the wish of council? Councillor Clark?
I'll move that we proceed with the membership on that.
Okay, thank you for that. You're on that committee. Thank you. Have we got a seconder? Thank you. Councillor Vroba? Any further questions or comments? Councillor Clark?
I just wanted to clarify, it's $660 for membership, and I just checked back, and it's been that same for at least the last couple of years. Some of the stuff I saw was at $600 back in 2017. There's a few places that are at the maximum, us, Mooseman, and Carlisle, so that's the most, the highest membership, and some of the RMs are similar. That for that $660, because I'm on the executive board, it covers all the expenses to go to that meeting and the honorarium as well.
Okay, like for mileage, good.
For mileage, so out of that $660, there's no other cost to the city for that.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Clark, for that explanation. And I know you guys do a lot of good work on there, so thank you for your efforts. So we've got a motion. Any further questions? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, under original communications, delegations, and petitions, we have the GFL CART report for October and November. Could I have a motion, please, to accept that report? Thank you, Councillor Ford. Have we got seconder? Thank you, Councillor Vroba. Oh, I guess I should be looking at Tony on the screen. So yes, now that I see you there, Tony, I see that big hand go up. I'll try to fit you in the meeting here. Sorry about that. All in favor? Carried. Next, under written reports of committees, we have from the Estevan Bruins the minutes of December 13th. Could we have a motion, please, for that? Councillor Ford, thank you. Councillor Cernick, was that hand going up? Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Cernick. Councillor Ford, anything you'd like to add to that?
Nothing major to report, Your Worship, just that we are getting in the groove with our new marketing manager, Adam Shirley. He's doing a great job, and I'm sure everyone's seen the changes on social media and everything, and he's doing a good job so far. And we're just on a little bit of a break with the Bruins right now, as everyone's probably seen in the news, and we're just looking forward to getting back to playing hockey soon.
Okay, thank you for that. And yeah, he's full of excitement. It's quite contagious. So yeah, that's great. Councillor Walliser?
Thank you, Your Worship. My question is regarding the note that says they met with the city to ensure the city is aware they are at risk for any COVID restrictions that may apply. Can you just give us a little more information about what those risks are?
Councillor Ford, please.
I was actually not a part of that meeting. I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, I read that as well, and thank you, Councillor Walliser, for bringing that up. I wonder if it isn't a misprint, but maybe we could have Councillor Ford check into that, because of course everyone's responsible, for COVID, and I wasn't sure what that meant either. But maybe Councillor Ford, at the next meeting, you could find out if you would.
And it was discussed earlier when we started with the vaccine policies and everything, that the Bruins would take on the onus of making sure they had the volunteers for the COVID protocols and everything else. So I think it probably aligns with that as well, but I'll check and make sure.
Okay, probably what they meant is following the city's guidelines, right? Okay. Thank you for that. Any further questions? If not, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Okay, next we have the minutes of the SETPC meeting of November 23rd. Could we have a motion, please, for that? Councillor Clark. Seconded by Councillor Walliser. Anything you'd like to add, Councillor Clark?
Thanks, Your Worship. It was a regular meeting. They were prioritizing some of the projects that are out there and encouraging anybody that had any safety or other projects that they wanted to add to get them in for the next year. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. And I don't have Judy beside me, but I guess we've got the seconder, so all in favor? Thank you. I miss you, Judy, prodding me and saying, wake up and do the right thing. So. Okay, next, under executive reports, we've got from the city manager and staff the 2022 budget. I would like to thank the city manager. I'd like to thank Trudy and all of the staff that had a lot of work and a lot of input into this. Great job. My understanding, city manager, is we will give the first and second reading tonight, and then we'll put it out for a few weeks. I see already city clerk shaking her head. City Clerk, I guess we will not give first and second reading. What would you wish?
No, you're just going to approve for release to public. Public
Okay.
release. That's all you're approving.
Okay, thank you for that. So tonight we will approve the release to public, give our community the opportunity to go over it and give us feedback. And then after that, we will pass the budget. So if we could have a motion then just to approve for release to the public. Thank you, Councillor Vroba. Seconded by Councillor Walliser. Thank you. Any further questions or comments? Councillor Vroba.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just want to really recommend to the public out there to basically go over this budget, to look at it, and to give your input. There's nothing, no other time, I guess is a good way to put it, that if there's something in the budget you're questioning, now is the time to question it. Now is the time to get the answers. So just, it's really good when we can have community input from our citizens. So it would be nice if everybody could take the time to go through the budget and reach out to the city or to one of us and just give your input. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Vroba. Yeah, we appreciate the feedback, and I know everyone has a busy life, but at least those that have COVID that are maybe waiting around home, if you could go over it, that would be much appreciated. Thank you for that. Okay, moving forward to under executive reports, we have from the city clerk the ICIP grant application. Now, ICIP is Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program. It is resolved that the Council of the City of Estevan supports the application for Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program grant for our leisure centre rooftop rehabilitation. And Council agrees to meet legislated standards to meet the terms and conditions of the ICIP, to conduct an open tendering process, to manage the construction of the project, to fund the municipal share of the project, to fund ongoing operation and maintenance costs, and to follow any mitigation measures as required by the Federal Impact Assessment Act and the Environmental Assessment Act of Saskatchewan. So we would appreciate a resolution for the ability to apply for this grant. What's the wish of council? Thank you, Councillor Frank. You're making that motion?
I'll make the motion, Your Worship.
Thank you. Have we got a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Ford. Any further questions? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, under executive reports, we have from the Water Services Manager the quality report for December of 21. Could we please have a motion for that? Thank you, Councillor Clark. Thank you. Councillor Walliser. Any further questions on that? Councillor Vroba.
Thank you, Your Worship. I noticed the aluminum was outside OG range, and it says it tests once every year from the treated water at the water treatment plant. Is this something that will show up in our report now until the end of the year when they test again? Or is this something that's been corrected already?
That's a good question. Usually they try to mitigate it right away, but if you like, the city manager can mark that down and we can have an answer for the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Just to speak to Councillor Baroba's inquiry
Okay.
there, I know Shane is looking at a few different methods to try to get that aluminum down. He said it's not an immediate permit issue, but it is noted in the water quality report. He did indicate that he may be looking at getting some assistance from a consultant on that, as everything he's tried so far has not brought it down to within that range. So I will get him to do a report for the next council meeting so everyone has the up-to-date information.
Okay, thank you, city manager. It's probably about the same aluminum intake as 10 cans of beer. Is that it? Something like that. But it's worth noting for sure.
Like that.
Okay, thank you for that. All in favor? Carried. Okay, next we have the building inspector permits for December. Could we have a motion, please, to accept those? Thank you, Councillor Broba. Thank you, Councillor Ford. Seconded by Councillor Ford. Any questions or comments? Councillor Walliser.
Thank you, your worship. Are we permitted to know what miscellaneous project is $1 million starting in the city?
Absolutely. City manager, which one was that? Was that the HVAC at the leisure?
Pardon me, sorry, I didn't hear the question, Mayor.
The $1 million, Jeff, that we have down on the building permit for this
I'll
month?
have to look into that and get back to you. I'm not 100% sure exactly what that is.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Walliser, for noticing that, and City Manager will get back for the next meeting. I'm thinking it might be the HVAC on the roof, which is about $1 million, but we'll get back to you on that. Okay, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, we have from the Building Inspector the 10-year summary report. Could we have a motion to accept that, please? Thank you, Councillor Clark. Seconded by Councillor Walliser. Any further questions? If not, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, we have from Land Development, report on changes to bylaw 2021-2050. And Richard, you're here this evening. Did you want to step up to the mic and in case we have some questions from council?
Yeah, public hearing, city yards. This bylaw, as we discussed before, is to close all the undeveloped road allowances around city yards. We're asking for one change, and that'll be to Schedule B on the bylaw. That's the map. And the reason for that is when we referred the proposed bylaw to Ministry of Highways, they recommended that we pull the closure back away from Cyrus Street a further 8 meters, so that, from Cyrus Ave, so that if Cyrus Ave had to undergo some road widening or something like that down in the long term, that we don't have to wind up taking road or taking land and putting it back into road. It's already there. And
you'll see that, council, on your
Yeah.
map at the back there.
so it's a revised Schedule B that you have there, and I reviewed that with Roads and Drainage and with City Engineering, and they thought that no problem there. We can accommodate that without any problems.
Okay, thank you, Richard. Any questions or comments from council? We'll be passing both 2051, and 2150 this evening, second and third readings for both. So this here, we just need a motion moving forward. And under public hearings and reports, I have to ask, is there anyone in the gallery who wishes to address council on the proposed land development service fees?
Judy's waving at you.
Oh, Judy, I guess that's for the next one too, isn't it?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I want you to pass a motion regarding this report on the yards first,
Okay.
and then we can go into the public hearing, please.
Okay, thank you, Judy. The long arm of the city clerk is with us this evening. Thank you. Okay, so we just need a motion on this one, and then we'll catch up with the other one later. Thank you, Councillor.
Yes.
Thank you, Councillor Brova. Have we got a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Ford. Any further questions? If not, all in favor? Carried? Thank you. Now, giving notice and motions from committee, consideration of bylaws. So City Clerk, do you want me just before we entertain that bylaw to do this then?
Yes, Your Worship, I need you to pass the public hearing now, which is regarding the bylaw for land development fees and service.
Right, for the changes in the fees. So this is where I have to ask, is there anyone in the gallery who wishes to address council on the proposed land development service fees? I see everyone in the front looking behind them. I don't see anyone back there either, but I have to ask, and then I'll ask again. Is there anyone in the gallery who wishes to address council on this particular matter? Second call. And at this juncture, if no one comes forward, the city clerk, I will ask the city clerk City Clerk, please record this in the minutes. Are we happy with that, City Clerk?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so moving on to consideration of bylaws. First off, we have bylaw 2021-2051, land development fees. This evening, we would like to give second and third reading to this bylaw. So do we have a motion for second reading of 2021-2051 land development fees? Thank you, Councillor Frank. Thank you, Councillor Walliser. Any questions or comments? If not, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Now I will ask for a third reading of bylaw 2021-2051 land development fees. Third reading for adoption and use of this bylaw. Thank you, Councillor Verova, seconded by Councillor Clark. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, we'll move on to bylaw 2021-2050, cancellation of land right-of-way adjacent to the city yards. And tonight we'll give second and third reading, and that's what Richard was alluding to before. So now I will ask for second reading of 2021-2050, cancellation of land right-of-way adjacent to city yards. Thank you, Councillor Verova. Seconded by Councillor Ford. Any questions? Councillor Verova.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just wanted to clarify that the reason why this bylaw is being brought in is because we had someone who inquired about this road and why the city had no public thoroughfare kind of thing sign up, so that they asked that the public not go through because there was a lot of heavy equipment that were being utilized in the city yard. And we had people that were going through trying to get to the ball diamonds, trying to just maybe take a shortcut. So this just makes it official, and that we ask people to please recognize and honor that this is a private road now. So because of the fact that there is so much heavy equipment, and it could be a dangerous road to even be on. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that, Councillor Verova, and that's exactly right. Lots of times we were loading with our loader, whether it was crushed asphalt, and then he'd turn around and here'd be a vehicle, you know, in there. So, yeah, it was definitely a safety concern. Okay, that's second reading. All in favor? Now I'll ask for 2021-2050, third reading for adoption and use of 2021-2050, cancellation of land right-of-way adjacent to the city yard. Thank you, Councillor Frank, seconded by I just saw Tony. I don't want that big paw on the back of my head, so I'm going to recognize Councillor Surdick for this one. Thank you, Councillor Surdick. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, inquiries. Councillor Verova.
Thank you, Your Worship. Two of the biggest inquiries that I had this last few weeks was about snow shoveling, especially in front of properties. And so if everybody could do their due diligence and just shovel outside their property, especially on the sidewalk there. And also if you have a fire hydrant, it needs to be cleared around the fire hydrant, not just kind of shoveled, but cleared so that in the case that your house or your neighbor's house was on fire, the fire department could actually get through. And the other thing is, because of this time of COVID right now, there's a lot of people that aren't allowed to even leave their house. So if you see a neighbor whose maybe walkway isn't shoveled, it might be okay for some of us just to go out and shovel that walkway and maybe help a neighbor out that isn't out there that normally would be. And again, thank you to everyone who is shoveling, because when you're out there walking, it is a lot easier to walk down those sidewalks, especially for the kids and stuff trying to go to school. So thank you to those that are doing it already.
Thank you, Councillor Verova. That's a very good point. We do understand there's people that are infirm that, struggle to get that cleaned, but it is very important for the people walking the sidewalks to have that cleaned. And please do not put your snow onto the street. I know we do a great job cleaning, but you'll end up with a big hump in front of your house so that everybody knows who's pushing it out onto the street. Please just put it on your lawn. I'm sure the lawn can use it come spring. Thank you. Councillor Clark?
Thanks, Your Worship. Yeah, certainly had lots of kudos on all of the snow removal from the city and the contractors who work well together. So thanks for that. I would like to make sure, kind of get it on the record. There's some concerns about the lighting at Affinity Place. I counted up 9 lights that were out, and it was just the concerned person was wondering what we were doing or if they were going to be fixed. I know I talked to Jeff, and I think there's some plans on that, but I would like it kind of brought up to find out what we're going to do over there.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Councillor Clark. City Manager, I think we have to bring the lift in to replace some lights. Do you know, would we be looking at that sooner than later or after the season?
I just want to confirm, Your Worship, Councillor Clark, are you talking about the lights in the parking lot or the lights inside of the building?
I was talking lights in the parking lot, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Parking lot? Yes, so there is a plan. I believe Andrew, our electrician, does have a plan. He's priced it out. I know it was postponed in budget last year. Maybe it's something we can squeeze into budget this year. I think we can upgrade those all to LED. I believe it was around $30,000. So as we finalize the budget here, we'll make sure that's a priority if council wishes.
Okay, thank you, City Manager. Councillor Clark, I think that should address, and the LED lights will be cheaper and brighter.
Yes, thank you, Worship.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure they just needed a few changed or whether they're at the end of their life, so that's a good discussion.
Yeah, I'm thinking they're probably at the end of their life. Yeah, good point. Councillor Walliser?
Nothing tonight, Your Worship.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Ford?
Thanks, Your Worship. Just a big shout out to Norm and his crew for all the snow removal that they did so quickly over the holidays. And just a reminder that the pathways are kind of not a full priority while cleaning snow. We're going to take care of roads and stuff first. I know we've talked about that before, but in the meantime, why don't you take advantage of the library's program of renting snowshoes and go check out the pathways in a different way?
Great idea. Thank you, Councillor Ford. Councillor Frank?
Thanks, Your Worship. The only one I had tonight, it brought up, I think it was a few years ago, it was definitely the previous councillors when Councillor Moore was on the Transportation Committee. There's a approach into the service road where Rocket Sales and Swift Sales and all those guys are just after the overpass. And that approach is quite squared off, and then there's kind of a dirt turn, and it's quite difficult for a lot of the larger vehicles that are going there. And I know we had looked at where we'd said it would be nice if they could be cleaned up, but it is going onto highways, so then it sort of becomes a whole political argument. So I just wanted to bring it up again because I know it's been a couple of years since we'd talked about it, and obviously new council in place, so bring it forward to the Transportation Committee as well as to probably our roads manager who can take a look at that and see if we can get that curve made a little bit softer for those vehicles going in. So.
Okay, thank you, and I'm sure City Manager will mark that down and have the discussions with the proper people. Thank you. Okay, we don't get to introduce our IT guru very often. This is Mr. Layton. We're very happy. He's working for us. He does a fantastic job. Would you have anything to say this evening? He's a man of few words. He's got golden fingers, but when it comes to talking, he's a man of few words. Trudy, our City Treasurer, nothing, okay? City Manager, I know you're home, but still, do you have anything to say this evening?
Nothing to add, but I believe Councillor Cernick might have something.
Oh, good. Councillor Cernick, there again. Here, I just about missed you. Okay, what can you tell?
You guessed wrong. I actually got nothing tonight, Your Worship.
Okay, thank you very much.
I promise I'll have 2 for the next one.
Okay, thank you. And City Clerk, thank you for helping us out tonight. Did you have anything to say?
Nothing, Your Worship. Everybody, please just stay safe.
Okay, thank you. And that'll be the last words of wisdom. I know COVID is still running rampant, so please try to keep your distance and stay safe. And good night, everyone. And could we have a motion to move into closed? Thank you. See, you guys are really becoming Keaters over here. As soon as Councillor Cernick isn't here, you guys are making up for lost time.
You're looking at us a lot more now.
I am. I have to admit. So thank you, Councillor Frank. Seconded by Councillor Ford. All in favor? Thank you. We stand adjourned. Good night.